The world just witnessed a major shock. The United States has unveiled its 2025 UFO aircraft, the Warthog. It's grabbing global attention and could shift military power worldwide. In a time where old warfare strategies fall short, America is once again leading the charge with next-gen tech. But what makes this so revolutionary? And how will it change the balance with rivals like Russia and China? Let's explore the Warthog's capabilities and how it could redefine future warfare. The A-10, nicknamed the Warthog, has served since 1977. Designed for one mission: protecting ground troops by destroying tanks and armored vehicles. It also guides other aircraft to targets, like a flying spotter. Unlike versatile jets, the A-10 was built specifically for close air support, making it one of a kind in the U.S. Air Force. Its official name is Thunderbolt II, honoring a World War II fighter, but most call it a Warthog due to its rugged, tough look. It was created to replace the A-1 Skyraider and built around one key feature: a giant 30mm cannon. The Warthog proved itself in 1991 during the Gulf War, pushing Iraqi forces out of Kuwait. Since then, it's flown missions across the Balkans, Afghanistan, Iraq, and against ISIS. Although the Air Force pushed to replace it with the F-35, many disagreed. By 2023, some A-10s were approved for retirement, but only after proving a suitable replacement exists. Post-World War II, the U.S. shifted focus from traditional ground attack aircraft to nuclear-capable jets like the F-101 and F-105. But during Vietnam, they had to rely on the old A-1 Skyraider, a slow but heavily armed prop plane. Unfortunately, it was easy to shoot down. The U.S. lost two 66 Skyraiders in Vietnam, mainly to small arms fire, revealing the need for a tougher aircraft. The Air Force needed a cheaper, durable plane to support troops alongside pricey jets like the F-4 and F-111. They first considered the F-5, then the A-7D Corsair II. But when upgrades were added, costs doubled, bringing them back to square one. Meanwhile, NATO made a breakthrough with helicopters. Troops modified their UH-1s with extra guns, creating effective gunships. This success led to the development of the AH-1 Cobra, a dedicated attack chopper armed with missiles and the powerful 30mm Gu-8 cannon, firing 3,900 rounds per minute. It could tear through tank armor using depleted uranium shells for extra punch. By September 1966, Air Force Chief General McConnell demanded a new ground support aircraft. The program launched in December under the X designation. In March 1967, 21 manufacturers were contacted. By May 1970, the Air Force finalized what it needed: a rugged, purpose-built plane to dominate the battlefield from the skies. The U.S. needed an aircraft that could destroy Soviet tanks in any weather. At its core, a powerful 30mm rotating gun. The entire plane was designed around this weapon. It had strict requirements: top speed under 460 miles per hour, takeoff within 4,000 feet, carry 16,000 pounds of weapons, and fly 285 miles round trip. Each aircraft cost $1.4 million back then, about $11 million today. This was the Air Force's first plane made specifically to support ground troops. They also needed a gun that could fire 4,000 rounds per minute at high speed. 6 companies submitted designs, but only 2, Northrop's YA-9 and Fairchild's YA-10, were chosen to build test planes. For the gun, General Electric and Philco Ford built test versions. Fairchild assembled 2 A-10s in New York, and on May 10, 1972, pilot Sam Nelson took the first one into the air. When full production began, it shifted to Maryland. The A-10 Thunderbolt II competed against the YA-9 and won in January 1973. GE was picked to produce the massive gun. But in 1974, the A-10 had to prove itself again against the A-7D Corsair II, the Air Force's main attack jet at the time. The A-10 passed, and the first production model flew in October 1975. Deliveries began in March 1976. Fairchild also created a 2-seat A-10 version for night and bad weather operations, with an added crew member for navigation and targeting. However, neither the Air Force nor other countries showed interest. Even when the Air Force tried to order trainer versions in 1981, Congress refused funding. The A-10 straight, low-mounted wings are thick and wide, allow it to turn tightly and fly low at slow speeds. Perfect for supporting ground troops. Its large wings and control surfaces make it ideal for takeoff from rough, short airstrips near combat zones. It cruises at 300 knots and can fly in low clouds and poor visibility. The wings are built for strength and lightness. Honeycomb-style edges and computer-made panels reduce weight and speed up manufacturing. Combat tests show the design is durable. Since the outer skin doesn't hold the wing together, crews can easily patch damage, even with improvised materials. The ailerons, used for rolling, are unique. They're extra large, covering nearly half the wing, giving the pilot better low-speed control. They also split open to act as air brakes, helping slow the plane. The A-10 is built for battlefield practicality. It can be refueled, rearmed, and repaired with minimal gear. Many parts, engines, tail fins, landing gear, are interchangeable left to right, simplifying field repairs. Its rugged landing gear, special tires, and wide wings let land on rough terrain, even roads or taxiways if needed. The Warthog is famously tough. It can survive hits from 23mm armor-piercing and explosive rounds. It has backup systems for everything. If hydraulic systems fail, a backup kicks in. If that fails, it still has a mechanical backup. Even under manual control, it can limp back to base. How tough is it? It can keep flying with one engine, half a tail, one elevator gone, and even part of a wing missing. Because it flies low near enemy lines, it's exposed to missiles and enemy jets. To protect itself, it carries flares and chaff to mislead incoming missiles. At the core of the Warthog protection is a 1,200 pounds titanium bathtub, armor that's around the pilot and key systems. It can absorb direct hits from 23mm rounds and even fragments from larger 57mm shells. The titanium plates are 1/2 to 1.5 inches thick, precisely placed based on where enemy fire is most likely. This armor makes up about 6% of the plane's empty weight. To prevent ricochets inside, the interior is lined with nylon layers, and even the canopy and windscreen can stop small arms fire. How tough is it? In April 2003, during the Iraq invasion, Captain Kim Campbell's A-10 was hit over Baghdad. One engine was knocked out, hydraulics failed, and she had to fly using just backup mechanical controls. Despite all that, she kept the plane airborne for nearly an hour and landed safely. The Warthog's engine placement is smart, too. The General Electric engines sit high on the fuselage, keeping dirt and debris from entering, ideal for rough airfields. This design also allows ground crews to service the aircraft while the engines are running, speeding up turnaround time. The low-mounted wings make rearming and maintenance easier. Those engines, secured by just 4 heavy-duty bolts, are also designed to reduce heat visibility. Their exhaust flows over the tail, lowering the chance of being targeted by heat-seeking missiles. The fuel system is just as rugged. For main tanks are tucked safely in the plane center, away from the outer skin. Any incoming fire must first breach the armor. Self-sealing lines and valves isolate damaged tanks, and most fuel components are housed inside the tanks to minimize leaks. The Warthog's main weapon is the legendary GU-8 Avenger, a 30mm rotary cannon built to shred tanks. Using 7 barrels powered by hydraulics, it's one of the deadliest aircraft guns ever made. Early models let pilots choose between 2,100 or 4,200 rounds per minute. Later versions fire a fixed 3,900 rounds per minute. The gun takes half a second to spin up, firing 50 rounds in the first second, then 65 to 70 rounds each second after that. How accurate is it? From 4,000 feet up, 8 out of 10 rounds land within a 40-foot circle. It's most effective in a 30 degrees dive from 4,000 feet. The gun is mounted slightly off-center, but when it fires, the barrel aligns perfectly with the plane's center line. The ammo drum, nearly 6 feet long, holds up to 1,350 rounds. Those standard loadouts carry 1,174. To protect the ammo, the drum is surrounded by armor. If hit, the design ensures shells explode before reaching the ammo inside, keeping plane and pilot safe. By 1991, ground fire had become a bigger threat than enemy aircraft. That's when the Air Force adopted the Compass Ghost paint scheme. Darker gray on top, lighter gray underneath. Before that, they tried various patterns. One was the peanut scheme with sand yellow and field drab. There was even a black and white version for winter. But during the Cold War, they mainly used a European or woodland camouflage, dark green, medium green, and dark gray, to blend into forest terrain. At the time, the focus was avoiding enemy fighters, but after the Gulf War, priorities shifted to countering threats from the ground. Debate over the A-10's future has gone on for years. In 2007, the Air Force planned to keep it until at least 2028, eventually replacing it with the F-35 Lightning II. But critics like defense analyst Winslow Wheeler called it a major mistake, pointing to the A-10's effectiveness and the F-35's high cost. In 2012, a vertical takeoff version of the F-35 was tested but couldn't meet mission requirements. By 2013, the Air Force and Congress began considering other options, including drones like the MQ-9 Reaper. Still, many experts argue nothing matches the A-10's armor and firepower for close air support. Over the years, Congress repeatedly blocked efforts to retire it. But in 2023, that changed. Lawmakers approved the removal of 21 A-10s to the defense budget. In 2011, there was even a bold plan to convert an A-10 into a weather research aircraft. The National Science Foundation offered $1 million of project, teaming up with the Naval Postgraduate School and South Dakota School of Mines. They needed a replacement for their aging T-28. But by 2018, the plan was scrapped. The required modifications were too costly and risky. The A-10 isn't sleek or flashy like modern jets. It's a rugged, no-nonsense war machine built to take hits and protect its pilot. Its legacy proves it. Thousands of missions flown, countless troops saved, and pilots brought home safely despite heavy damage. That's why ground forces gave a nickname, the Warthog, not for its looks, but for its unmatched toughness.